Ladies and gents, we are seeing something in this market right here that to me is a sign that this Bitcoin dump is not yet over. There are actually quite a few things that look terrible about this chart right now, but you'll remember if you watched my previous video that I'm not actually too worried about this. So I'm going to break down for you why this chart still looks really bad. I told you that we were still looking at dropping down to levels like 42 in the last video. That's exactly what happened. This is actually a prediction I've had for weeks, and I'm very glad to see that we finally come down here. And I'm also going to tell you why I'm still not worried and why I'm actually planning on buying crypto now. It's very rare that you see me saying something like that. So you know that when I'm saying it, there's some good reason for it. Let me break this down for you, and we are going to start off with what's bad because admittedly there are still more bearish things than bullish things, but that's exactly how a market reverses, and that's what I want you to keep in mind. When you have everything that's overwhelmingly bearish and everyone is scared and people are really worried and the market still looks terrible, that is how you bottom out and start rallying upwards. Let's break this down. So the first main thing, ladies and gents, that I want to talk to you about is that Bitcoin has formed a series of patterns that indicate that it's ready to trade lower again. Now, one of these main ones is these larger kind of continuation patterns that you hear me talking about all the time. It's where you're trading downwards, then you fight the trend a little bit by trading upwards slowly, and then the trend continues trading down. This part is called a continuation pattern, and we've formed quite a few of these on large time frames. We've got a big one right here. We've got a very big one, and this is actually going to be what I'm going to focus you on for a little bit in this video. And then on smaller time frames, if we zoom in, we formed a lot of them. We formed a lot. See, there's one right here, then we formed another one. This was a more typical bear flag. This was actually exactly what I said would happen, that we trade sideways a little bit and then continue downwards. So that worked out very well. I actually planned out a trade for exactly this inside of VIP. Those of you who are in VIP will know this very well, and I've given you my update on how I would have navigated that if I traded it. I actually decided not to trade it because on that same day I made a 35% profit on Ethereum inside of // VIP. So I don't like trading after I've already made some money. It's just a little bit dangerous, and that's why I'm very happy to sacrifice some more profits in order to make sure that I'm doing things safely. But we ended up forming another continuation pattern right here, and it looks like we could be in another one right now. That is something I'll talk about a little bit later, and then also the good things that I'm seeing with this chart. But the first thing that I really have to focus your attention on right now, ladies and gents, is that Bitcoin right now, it topped out at the $65,000 level roughly, and since then we can see on the daily time frame quite a clear trend right now. We can actually break this down quite clearly. Oh, and yesterday I mentioned to you this descending triangle. Bam, we broke out exactly as I said. We even came back up to test it and find resistance here and then continue trading down. I mean, this market, it might look scary to you right now, but this is actually really healthy price action. This is moving in very good ways, and that's what really to me is very reassuring. You know, just like you, I've also lost what 20-25% of all my USD that's in crypto and stuff like that, and that's completely fine for me because first of all, I've lived through this a million times, so I know that it's most likely going to recover. But more importantly, you know, we are dumping down in quite hideous ways, but we're only encountering the same issues we've encountered before, and we're doing it in healthy ways. You know, this is not the first time in crypto history where somebody like Elon Musk has started talking shit about crypto. You know, I love Elon Musk, don't get me wrong, but he's obviously not fully informed about certain things like how mining works and different things like that. But it's not the first time that we've had someone with such influence saying bad things about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin still managed to rally above 20k all the way up to 65. So I'm really not too worried about this at all. You know, it is just clear market manipulation, and the market always recovers from that. And then the extension to that is that we have such healthy price action. If we do take a look at this, we managed to get that resistance rejection off this line right here, which is telling me that the bulls are still here. You know, we're dropping down, but the bulls are still putting up a fight. Obviously, they're losing the war right now, but they're winning these temporary battles, and that's telling me that they're not dead. And if they're not dead, then eventually they're gonna come back in stronger force, in my opinion, because the longer term trend is absolutely undeniable, my friends. The longer term trend is that the bulls have got this in the bag, that this is no big deal. We have, can I just remind you, rallied from 20k up to above 40k. We're still more than double the previous all-time high. This is absolutely phenomenal performance overall. Let's break down for you the bearish side though, because this is quite important. What Bitcoin did right here was it topped out at $65,000 and then traded lower for its first leg down. Then we formed that one big rising wedge. This is a very clear rising wedge. Now we were setting higher lows and higher highs in this trend. So this is a very clear rising wedge. You can call it ascending channel. Doesn't really matter what name you give it. And then we ended up continuing down. And this is where it gets a little bit scary, right? This is where it gets a little bit scary because what we're looking at right here, and it's very rare that you see me giving you this kind of analysis. What we're looking at right here, in my opinion, is an Elliott wave formation. Bam, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then maybe wave 5. This is what I'm looking at right now, ladies and gents. This is what I think we could be in right now. This is not something that I talk about often on this channel because, in all honesty, I don't really like Elliott wave patterns. I think that they're very unreliable and highly subjective. But right now, I think we are looking at an Elliott wave formation, which is simply to say that we're making one leg down, recovering up once, a second leg down, recovering up for a second and final time, and then making our third final leg down. And the thing that you need to keep in mind about these Elliott wave patterns is that wave 2 to 3 is usually the biggest wave of an Elliott wave pattern, right? So you get three, in this case, 3 waves moving down. The first one is usually of moderate intensity, the second one is usually very intense, and the third one is usually only as intense as the first one. So let me break that down for you. Let's see how that might actually look in practice. If we remove this Elliott wave real quick, and I show you exactly how large this has been. If we measure this down, the first wave fairly large in terms of a drop, the second one similar size. This is telling me that we could potentially be trending down a little bit more within this second wave in order to completely fulfill that general, prophecy, so to speak, of the second wave is usually larger than the first one. Maybe trending down a little bit more, perhaps down to $40,000 I think would be enough, and then we start rallying up. We form what's called another reaction rally or relief rally. Both of these are the same thing, and that's where the trend finishes moving downwards temporarily, and it's going to form a relief rally upwards. It's going to give the traders a little bit of relief in this market, and it's going to trade higher a little bit, only until it finds resistance. And where do you find resistance? Well, that can be fairly easily identified if we zoom in a little bit further. If we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, we can start to identify potential resistance areas. I think this is fairly obvious. I'm seeing a key resistance area potentially being around this zone right here between $47,000 and $50,000. This is a fairly large range, but I certainly think that if Bitcoin were to trend up into this area again, just considering that it found support here and here and here, that's a lot of support to be finding. It's not a lot of support, but it's a decent amount of support to be finding in this range. And the key thing right now is that even though the bulls are alive, they're still weak, right? And so it's not going to take a lot, in my opinion, for things to get pretty bad for the bulls. And that's why I would expect that a moderate support level in the past can turn into a pretty strong resistance level in the future. And we're below it right now. So if we did end up coming up to this level, I think we can start to find some resistance there for sure. That would make a lot of sense, potentially taking us down our final leg. And I'll break down for you where that might take us. But the next thing to identify is there any resistance here from my own indicators? And bam, yes there is. We've got a beautiful Ichimoku cloud there providing some resistance for this market right now, potentially indicating that over the next few days this resistance is going to keep on dropping lower. We're going to have Ichimoku resistance right here on the 4-hour time frame, which is fairly significant when you're in a trend. On the 1-hour time frame, where is that resistance? Bam, it's already in the cloud. There's a lot going for this market right now to tell us that actually we are going to find resistance in that general area. And keep in mind, with the Ichimoku cloud, this moves lower with time, so it actually gets worse, unfortunately. Switch it back to the 4-hour time frame, take a look at where the momentum is. Bam, all the EMA ribbons, all the EMA lines, apart from maybe 2 or 3, are now in this blue box that I just drew for you on video. This is very impressive because I didn't even look at this before starting to record, but it is making a lot of sense that we're starting to see other indicators providing resistance in the same place. And this is very important because as a legitimate trader, as I am, like I'm an actual trader, not just an investor. As an actual trader, I need to be able to find multiple forms of confirmation for the same idea before I'm committing to an idea. And that is extremely important in my opinion, because if you fail to do that, you're actually not fully committing to a good trade idea. You need to be able to confirm it with multiple different things, and that's why I'm looking at my horizontal resistance, I'm looking at Ichimoku resistance, I'm looking at EMA resistance, I'm looking at psychology, I'm looking at chart patterns, I'm looking at as many things as possible to see, do they provide confirmation to my hypothesis? If not, if so, and so on, kind of explore those trains of thought. And that's extremely important to be able to do. As a trader in this market, you can stand to make a lot of money. VIP members have been absolutely killing it recently. I mentioned to you that just a few days ago I actually sold a bunch of Ethereum. I was in an Ethereum long position. I made a 35% profit that opened during the drop. So this was while everyone was losing money. I think it was like a 10 minus 20% day. I actually profited 35% inside of VIP, and all 1,100 plus members were able to see me doing that. We've just crossed 1,150, well on our way to 1.2. If you want to get in, now is your chance. And actually on that very same day, it's looking super attractive now, because I did make it very clear to you guys in VIP with my investment update. This was at 8 a.m. Chicago time on the day of the big dump, which was, I've already painted this for you, but at the time that I sent out this message, Ethereum was literally trading at its all-time high. It was right here with all these weird blue circles. This is where Ethereum was when I told VIP members with this investment update. This is exactly the time where I told with this investment update that that I will be selling Ethereum. Where did I say that? I'm probably leaning towards scaling back my position. And I mentioned, I would strongly considering selling part or all of my Ethereum holdings back into Bitcoin, or probably even USD, as I feel that this monstrous rise needs to either stop or correct. The foresight we had to say this right at the top, ladies and gents. This is what Forflies VIP is all about. When everyone is absolutely going bonkers, or for international viewers, everyone who's just going crazy in this market because you're very excited by the allure of profits, Forflies VIP is there staying calm and collected and actually scaling out of positions when other people are putting more money into the market. When other people are getting very greedy. And I said this on Twitter, I've said this on YouTube, I even told VIPs about it, and I traded that way. I told you guys very clearly that when this market is starting to become a little bit too exuberant, I want to get out. That's exactly what I said right here. I was saying that this monstrous rise needs to either stop or correct, and since that point, ladies and gents, better than I could have imagined, Ethereum is already down by $1,000. So look at how much I've potentially saved myself from losing, and of course I can re-enter these positions at any point, and I can buy, for example, if I sold into USD, which I didn't know, I was actually into BTC, but if I sold into USD, I would be able to buy 25% more Ethereum back right now, which is absolutely fantastic. This is how you trade, this is how you compound profits. It's all about being aware of these things, being aware of what's going on in your head and in the head of the traders in the rest of the market. That's really what's going to set you apart. From around 0.03 BTC per ETH to now 0.075, I mentioned that Ethereum would be outperforming Bitcoin, which it did by more than 2x. It was a great idea right there. And of course, VIP members have just been absolutely killing it as usual. This is standard procedure for us almost now. Very impressive gains we're seeing across the board. These are actually a little bit outdated now. I don't have the up-to-date testimonials with me for this video. Actually, no, here they are, my bad. This person right here joining VIP and then making 2,000 within their first day. You weren't even in VIP for more than a day, making 2,000 within their first day of enrolling into our VIP group. We got another person right here who, what did this person say? Made back his VIP sum within a fairly short space. I can't remember how long this person was in VIP, but paying off his VIP entry fee fairly shortly after joining. And another person right here with another triple-digit profit. Again, super impressive. So if you want to see how these people have been able to pull it off and gain access to all the information on every single trade that I make in this market, then the steps to join are on screen right now. Click on the first link in the description down below, then click on the @Forflies button at the bottom of any post inside of Forflies Gold, and then click on send message to ask me how to join. I'll send you all the information about exactly what's going on with your discount that is still valid right now in this market. So take advantage of it, because we're not going to keep this discount running forever. We do actually we are actually looking at wrapping it up fairly soon, because we've had massive uptake in VIP for a little bit. So if you are ready to take your opportunity right now, grab this market by the balls, then here we are with Forflies VIP. These steps on screen will take you there. Less than 30 seconds, only 3 clicks. Pause the video and then come back. All right, back to the analysis. Let's take it back over to Bitcoin before we start looking at Ethereum and the like. We are in that Elliott wave pattern that I was talking to you about a little bit earlier. I certainly think that this can turn out to be fairly dangerous for the market, and I have shown you why we could expect to find a little bit of resistance there now. So I think that's very, very important, and it does show us that there's confluence there. We've got multiple different indicators, multiple different forms of analysis agreeing with the same idea. That's called confluence. That's where you know that you've started to develop a good grasp on the market, something that's a little bit healthy, and that's the kind of next move that I'm anticipating. Because we're not going to be dropping down like a stone forever. We always can get, what I like to call fuck you candles with Bitcoin, where it just does something absolutely crazy, kind of like this pump right here, kind of like this dump right here, or this one right here. It's always possible that we're going to get these, but you can't really bank on them. It's very hard to predict when they're going to happen. And so I'm actually just focusing on bottoming, what the next major move might be, and I think that could be potentially just trading a little bit lower and then finding some resistance up ahead and then moving lower one more time. This is really going to serve to scare a lot of people in this market, and it is still serving to correct the market. Clearly, the market was not ready to continue its parabolic rise, and that's completely fine, because overall, ladies and gents, the fact is we have not formed any sort of major market top pattern yet. Markets do not top like this, especially with Bitcoin most of the time. This would be this would be a very exceptional circumstance if Bitcoin actually did enter a bear market right now. We absolutely could be in a bearish trend for a matter of many months, many weeks, even more likely many weeks, not months. But that does not mean that this bull run is over. Bull runs, they don't end like this, especially not Bitcoins, especially bull runs that exhibit all the signs that we saw right here of extreme euphoria, of excitement, of institutional involvement, of government backing, everything that we've seen right here. A bull run like this cannot end, in my head. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but the way I'm seeing it, it just cannot end with such healthy price action like this. I mean, this was just very clearly a little bit of distribution at the top, and now the market is trending lower, but that definitely does not mean that this is over yet. It could be that we're at, we trade something like this going into even Q3 of 2021, the next 6 months or something would even be fine. And then, after we're done with that, we continue the rally up. That would make so much sense in this market right now. But to say that this bull run is over, that's not what's happening, in my opinion. I think we're very, very far away from that, purely because a market with this level of exuberance, it does not top out like this. This is quite healthy price action at the top of a trend. Here's how a bull market does actually end. I mean, you're getting an absolutely fucking face-melting rally that you cannot even comprehend, and then you're dropping down like a stone the next day, minus 50%, and then you're going back up, and then you're dropping again, and there's just absolutely no recovery. This is called a blow off top. This is called a dead cat bounce. We haven't had either of those in this market right here. This blow off top, if you want to call it that, was quite weak, from high to low, only dropping by 27%. Previously, it dropped by 50%. So this is not even half of that. The next one, this dead cat bounce, it's not like it's particularly scary at all. We're just not forming that kind of market pattern that's going to end the bull market yet. We would have had much crazier exponential rises before, but instead we made a rally which actually had fairly good corrections. Take a look at this in 2017. There were no corrections on the way up. There was this one brief one that lasted a few days, but that was it. There was no correction on the way up to 20K as soon as Bitcoin passed $8,000. With our current trend right now, we were correcting the whole bloody way up. This is not a sign of a market reaching extreme irrational exuberance. We were not there in this market yet. And so I can't see how this would end. And that's the kind of bullish side of this argument. And that's why I'm actually not worried about it, because I think that we've had the correction that we needed. We've fallen down to much needed levels. The FUD has worked. This is roughly the price level that we dropped down to today, that Elon Musk and Tesla actually bought Bitcoin at, officially on the records. I think it's around here. It might actually be lower. And so, we've come down to quite important levels in the market. We've retraced down to a previous all-time high. If we're analyzing this in hindsight, ladies and gents, and Bitcoin actually does not drop lower than this and it continues rallying up to new all-time highs right now, this would look exactly like so many corrections that we've seen in the past. Let me show you a few examples of them right now, where we've seen the same thing like this happening many, many times. This is why I'm just not worried. I can't be worried about it. It's just not very concerning to me. Look, bam, right here. I've just dropped 3 examples for you. The third one actually probably isn't valid, but the first 2 definitely are. We can see that on the way up right here, Bitcoin starts to establish a little bit of resistance at roughly the $1,800 level. If we play this chart forward a little bit, One second. Yeah, if we play this chart forward a little bit, we can see that Bitcoin established some resistance right here around the $1,800 level. It was trading up very, very nicely, but then it paused. It started trading slowly. That means we established some resistance. Bitcoin could not punch above this yellow line very easily, so that's resistance. And then as soon as we rise above it, we start using this very same area as support when we finish a massive rally downwards. Bam, look at that. Bitcoin starts entering a fairly large downtrend from the all-time high down to this low right here. It is 34 days. That's a fairly large time frame for Bitcoin to be correcting. And right at the bottom, it hits this yellow line. It finds support at a previous area of resistance, and here we are now rallying on up to new all-time highs. Now once again, Bitcoin establishes some resistance at the $3,000 level. Bam, right here. Bitcoin gets rejected, falls down. Bitcoin gets rejected, falls down, establishing a little bit of resistance. Then we manage to climb up above it, and if we play this chart forward once again, we can see that this old area of resistance turns into a new area of support. And again, we've never been down to this price level since that time. Not even in 2019, not even in 2018 when the really big crashes happened. Nothing. We didn't come anywhere near these. Actually, we came near to this one. We came within $200 of this price area, but we didn't hit it, which shows you how strong these are. And this was just a previous all-time high. This was a significant previous all-time high, which triggered a minus 35% drop in the market. Take a look at this, measured from high down to low. I'm sorry, minus 40%, which is usually where Bitcoin maxes out at. That's a very big drop. You've got $100 in at the top. Now you're left with $60. You nearly lost half of your money. That's a very, very big drop to be experiencing in this market, which means that it was a significant all-time high point. And we can see that in the future, Bitcoin just falls down to this same level, finds support, and rallies up to $20,000 bloody dollars. Nearly a, well, from this level, a 5 times increase, which is absolutely phenomenal. You know, another 5 times increase from where we are right now will put us at $200,000. Yeah, it's 10 times higher than the previous all-time high that Bitcoin topped out at. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I am absolutely saying that we've got the same setup on this chart right now. This was a big all-time high. It triggered a fairly sizable correction of minus 32%. It lasted a fairly decent amount of time. This is minus 28, so a little bit more, minus 32. Triggered a nice correction in the market. It lasted a good amount of time. We then blew right through it. We didn't come down to it completely before, so now we did right now in this market. If this correction ended right now, ladies and gents, I would just cream my pants. I would go all in on Bitcoin. I would be the biggest bull you guys have ever seen, and that's kind of the point. You know, it's very fun and attractive to be a bull at all times in the market because you've got your own investments and you want to make yourself feel like you're the right decision maker, that you've made the right decisions. I don't like doing that. I like to get bullish when everyone's shitting their pants and getting very scared. That's when I buy. I like to sell right at the top when everyone thinks I'm an idiot, when everyone's laughing at me, when the people in the YouTube comments are saying that, you know, I'm always a permanent bear in these markets. That's when I like to sell in this market. That's where I like to make these kind of decisions. And ladies and gents, if you're looking for a platform to trade these coins on, then Bybit is the one to check out. There's a link in the description for you to sign up. It's the same exchange I've been using for years. I work with them. I love them. There is a $1,600 deposit bonus waiting for you in the description down below. So depending on how much you deposit, you are going to be getting up to $1,600 completely free of charge, just with whatever you deposit that you can trade with. So you can literally put your funds on Bybit, enjoy that deposit bonus, and then withdraw your funds and just trade with the free cash. Any profits you make, you can withdraw. That's your money. That link is in the description, and it's a limited time only. I think it only ends like next week or the week after, so make sure you sign up with that link if you are interested. If you're in the United States, you will need a VPN. That's what I'm doing because I'm in the United States right now. Never heard of an issue with it, so definitely do check this out. Of course, I can't endorse that though, so if you are in the US, I should actually say don't use it. But for the rest of you guys in actual free countries in the world, go ahead and follow that link down below. You can sign up to Bybit and enjoy that deposit bonus. It helps out this channel as well. And taking it back to the charts here, because we're not done with the analysis. This is quite a sizable video. How long is this video now? We're up to 23 minutes. Okay, not that bad. You know, let's take it back to the analysis here with Bitcoin. So like I said, potentially dropping a little bit lower would make sense, but I think that now, even if we did top out, even if we did bottom out, that would make a lot of sense. In keeping with the bearish ideas though, we are still in quite a bearish pattern, and I have to point this out to you. I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I didn't point this out to you. So let's take a look at this on the Gemini chart. Actually, no, we'll use the Bitstamp chart this time. What I want to point out to you right here, ladies and gents, is that Bitcoin is actually in the exact same pattern that it's been in a few times before a big dump started. So take a look at this right here. We're in a parallel channel, perfectly horizontal parallel channel. Take a look at this, where Bitcoin ends up trading in sideways for a little bit and then starts dumping down from. So we can see this quite clearly that we just traded sideways, moved down, just traded sideways, moved down. Now we're just trading sideways again. So you know, we are at a much stronger support level right now, in my opinion, because this was the previous all-time high, and that's why I kept saying for months that we had to come down here eventually. I said even if we went up to $80,000, we would still have to, or we would still have a chance of coming down here eventually. Obviously, I didn't know for sure that we would still have a chance of coming down here eventually because this was a previous all-time high level. But we are still forming the exact same pattern where we're just trading sideways, then moving down, trading sideways, then moving down. We only have 2 instances of this on this chart right now, but this is a very, very typical pattern for Bitcoin, and we're forming it again. So the question is, how strong really is this support level? And if it's not strong enough, how low are we going to go next? And that's the next question that I want to tackle with you in this live stream. Now, those of you who are regular subscribers and viewers of this YouTube channel, you will already know what I'm about to say. If you're not, then go ahead and make sure that you do click that subscribe button, click the like button to make sure that you don't miss out on this very, very valuable content. If you're not already subscribed to this channel and you're enjoying this video so far, then you're going to be able to guarantee that you can watch more of these when they're very time sensitive, like right now, as soon as possible. That is very, very important. You can also achieve that by clicking the bell and of course joining our free Telegram channel, which is the first link in the description down below. This is where we're actually giving you more free analysis, and we're giving you insights into my trades. This is completely free with the first link down below, and you'll also get pinged when I make a YouTube video, so you can watch them as soon as possible, because you need to know what's going on in the market as soon as possible when it's moving so quickly like this, if you find these videos helpful. But anyway, taking it back to the analysis right here, let's take it back on the linear chart. We can see that Bitcoin did top out at $42,000 roughly around about here. So let's drop a line right there. And the next area, which I think is fairly important, is roughly around 38,000 somewhere right here. This is, as I said, if you are a regular viewer of the channel, thank you very much for subscribing. You would know very well that this has been a level that I've had my eye on for quite a while now. $38,000 as being the potential final bounce zone for Bitcoin. I think it's quite possible that perhaps we trade up to 47 now, fall down here briefly, and then start rallying up. I also think it's possible that at any point in between, before, during, after, whatever, we do come down to this level for a final support hit, and then we carry on trading higher. This is my point of no return, ladies and gents. If Bitcoin manages to fall below, well, first of all, if Bitcoin manages to fall below 42,000, I will be worried. I will be concerned. This is where I start getting a little bit worried, because this is very, very good support in my opinion. It's a previous all-time high. I'd like to see if there's a Fibonacci retracement. I'm sure there's got to be a Fibonacci retracement to draw from here as well. Let's take a look at this. So there is a Fibonacci at $43,000, so that is quite significant, and it's the 618 retracement, so that does actually make a lot of sense. Let's measure this from the all-time high down to where we are right now. Bam, that's a 35% drop. So this is very, very standard price movement for Bitcoin to correct down. 40% is exactly at $38,000. So you know, Bitcoin within its healthy downtrends, again, regular viewers will know this very well. When it's having a healthy downtrend, it will correct down by about 30 to 40%, right? This one was 32%. This one so far is 35%, maybe down to 40% to top it off, but it doesn't fall more than 40%. If it falls more than 40%, that usually means that the bull market is actually over. So if we drop below 42, I will start to get a little bit worried. If we drop below 38, that's where it's game over for me. That's where I'm going to actually start flipping to become bearish, because we've now exceeded the maximum drop that we should be having in a healthy trend. And that's where I'm going to start looking at potentially taking out more short positions in Bitcoin and different things like that. So that's what I'm looking at in this market right now. 38K is my final kind of support level for Bitcoin. The reason that this is an important level for me is that if we zoom in a little bit more and take a look at this on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that Bitcoin did establish a little bit of resistance around this range previously. It did also find some support. This was also the top of the first big Elon Musk pump on crypto that we ever saw. This is where he said something very bullish about Doge or Bitcoin. I don't even remember. This was where things really started to spice up a little bit. So and this is the pump that actually ended in the same day, but I certainly think that this because of this, you know, these crucial reversal points, it could just turn out to be a very important level in this market, and that's why I'm looking at it being a potential final bounce zone. But anywhere around here, broadly speaking, I am a little bit worried. However, I'm strongly expecting this market to continue rising upwards from these kind of levels. This is where, I've been saying that we should be getting some drops lower. I've been saying that I'm not particularly worried. This is where I start flipping my perspective and becoming a lot more bullish, because now I think that correction has pretty much, I think, come to an end. So that's what I'm seeing right here. Ethereum, real quick, because I think it's very important to keep in mind, is looking terrible. Ethereum is actually looking pretty bad. I'm very glad that I sold right at the top. It turned out to be 100% the correct decision. I was a little bit worried that perhaps I wasn't making the right decision, but I knew that because everybody was so exuberant in the market, everybody was so happy, I had to click sell. When that happens, it usually turns out to be the right decision, because Ethereum has formed very, 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 very many bearish patterns in this market. And what it's actually doing right here, Bitcoin's done the same, is it's falling out of important support levels right here. This Ichimoku cloud, it's pretty much just wrecked it all. I mean, if it doesn't bounce right now, it's going to fall out of this Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour time frame, and it has really lost a lot of support. The 4-hour EMA ribbon, it's lost. The 1-day EMA ribbon, it's testing right now, which actually we haven't broken for a very, very long time. So hopefully we don't. This stretches all the way down to $2,800, but that's only $400 away. So it's fairly likely that Ethereum's going to break below this level again as well. And the thing we need to keep in mind is that because Ethereum is a smaller asset, it's going to perform worse than Bitcoin when things start getting bad. Bitcoin's down by -7%. Ethereum's down by -8%. So it's not a big difference, but Ethereum is still getting hit a little bit harder than Bitcoin. And I think broadly speaking, it will continue to get hit harder than Bitcoin. We can see that Ethereum topped out at 0.082 BTC against one Ethereum for one Ethereum token, and it has started trending downwards. If this gets uglier, and especially I think actually if Bitcoin starts really rocket ship rising higher right now in a very, very explosive manner, that's going to be pretty bad for Ethereum. I think that all the attention is going to flip back to Bitcoin, which is great for traders. It's great for people like me. And I think that's really what's going to put this market in a great position to rise higher. Cardano has been performing phenomenally. It's been performing really, really well. As soon as we broke above this red line that I drew for you guys a little bit back, again, if you're a regular subscriber, you would have seen my analysis on this. But if you're not, then make sure you do subscribe now so you don't miss it next time. As soon as we managed to rise above this red line, it exploded to the upside. This is Cardano against Bitcoin. Cardano against the US dollar, my God, has blown up, hit $2.40. I mentioned that it was looking good down here. I'm very ashamed of myself. I was actually in a long position way earlier, like around here, that I closed, unfortunately. So I shouldn't have closed that long position, but that's completely fine. It happens in these markets. It's not a problem at all. But Cardano has just been performing absolutely great in this market right now, and I think that as soon as this thing does recover, Cardano could continue to rally up very nicely. And I don't remember, but I think this must be an all-time high. Yeah, this is an all-time high for Cardano. So very, very impressive price action in this market. As you guys know, I'm not just trading Bitcoin. It's the main thing I do, but I also trade other coins as well. VIP members have been getting everything. This post was made the day after the big dump started. I told VIP members I was selling 50% of my long-term Ethereum holdings right before the dump, and shortly afterwards I also ripped a quick 35% profit on Ethereum during this very same dump. So while everybody has been losing money, myself and VIP, other VIP members have been making money. That's how you position yourself to absolutely slay in these markets, because you could be performing well when the sun is shining, and that's absolutely great. You're lucky and you're exploiting that luck. Good for you. It's good to be able to do that. Luck is good. We all have a little bit of luck right now, whether you're willing to accept it or not. There is a lot of luck playing in our favor in this market, broadly speaking. But when those clouds start coming out and things start getting a little bit gray, what's your deal then? Are you going to fall to shit? Are you still going to be a good trader, or are you going to start losing money now? Are you going to start losing your footing? More importantly, you're going to start losing your confidence. What about the opportunity cost there? If you've lost your confidence, what is that going to mean with the next opportunity that you don't take because you don't have confidence in yourself? This is where VIP shines. It's those extra things right there that if you don't have them, in a space of 1 month, it might not make a massive difference. Maybe a VIP member would make 20% more than the average person. In the space of a year, that 20% every month is going to compound, and those results will be unrecognizable. They will be significantly better when you do these extra little things. And that's the thing about trading, broadly speaking, ladies and gents. I'm going to put the steps on screen to join VIP right here. That's the thing about trading right here, ladies and gents, which is that, you can fix certain things practically overnight. It's just perspective shift. shifts, it's mindset shifts, it's certain tools that you perhaps don't know how to use, which we have the tutorials on inside of VIP. You can fix these things fairly quickly, and then over a significant period of time, it will make you a much better trader. It will put you on a much better path, because at the end of the day, we're trying to go on that path to make more money, but before you get there, you're going to have a lot of dips. And what we're trying to do with the VIP group is remove those dips, because what's happening with these dips is that you're losing money, you're learning lessons and so on, which is absolutely great. You need to do it in order to be a good trader, but it's costing you time. It's costing you very, very valuable time. This market right now is so ripe to trade. That's why we were able to make such an easy 35% profit on Ethereum. That's why I was able to sell my Ethereum literally at the top, for these very, very same reasons, because this market is quite predictable right now. So if you know what you're doing, it's actually not very difficult to navigate, but you're wasting your time learning those lessons and losing your money. That's giving you less firepower, as in less firepower meaning less dollars to trade with moving forward, which means you limit your successes, and it's wasting your time while the market is so hot. The perspective that I'm taking and presenting to you right now is you can shortcut your way there through VIP. Hopefully, obviously nothing is guaranteed, by following these steps on screen. And crucially, if you'd like to get a little bit more information about this and you're not particularly sure if you're ready for VIP, then we can find out if you would be a good fit for 4Flies VIP by actually setting up a phone call with a member of our team, or even myself. So when you follow these 3 steps on screen right after this video is over, click on the first link in the description down below, then on the @4Flies button, and then on the send message button to ask me how to join VIP. You can also request a phone call with a member of the team, and we will set that up. Could happen today, if not tomorrow. We've got good availability, and we are ready to see if this is great for you. So these steps on screen will take you there. It's been an absolutely amazing journey. 1,100 plus people already benefiting from this. We are doing very, very well right here. So I would love to see you on board. And once again, if you are looking for a platform to trade, Bybit is 100% the way to go, in my opinion. It's the one that I've loved using for years. I am in the US right now, so I am using VPN. Never had an issue, but of course I can't endorse that. And there is a $1,600 bonus waiting for you with the link in the description. So make sure to take advantage of that, because that is just free money that you get to trade with. And of course, my tutorial on Bybit is also down there in the description. Hope you've all had a great day. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.